Hello. Will it grow? It will grow. I thought today I would continue the process of teaching you about a few things that are going on in my garden. Things that I do and why I do them and how I do them. So let's get started. This isn't necessarily going to be about just one thing, although it might be. I'm going to start out, first of all, talking about tomatoes. I don't know which of my tomatoes are determinate and which are indeterminate. Somehow or another, I wasn't able to tell that exactly from, oh my, that's weird. Oh, I'm sorry, I just interrupted myself. I have a plant. I'm going to show you what I went oh my about. Down here, what was in there? Well, this is petunia, banana pepper, that's what it was. And, well, something, where am I looking at it? Something dug in there and removed whatever it was. The banana pepper, well, we still got, this is a little worse for wear. I'll have to come back and work on that. I suspect it was a squirrel or possibly a cat. Okay, back to what I was going to talk about. Tomatoes. One of the things that I want to make sure with my tomatoes, I was saying if you have determinate tomatoes, okay, let me show you what I'm doing here. I'm going to take off the bottom, any leaves, lower leaves. Let me change hands here with my phone. Any leaves that are kind of icky, and any leaves that are down where they might touch the ground. Because it doesn't matter really whether they're determinate or indeterminate. You do not want, let me aim this correctly. There we go. You don't want your leaves to touch the ground. The top part, a lot of people trim out their suckers. I'm not going to with this one. This is a Brad's Atomic. Okay. Take off the bottom ones. That one needs to be a little more in contact with this pole. And I don't seem to have a stick here that tells me what kind it is. This one over here. Okay, that one, I think it was actually, that one's a Bonnie Best. This one is a beefsteak. So that one I actually am going to take the sucker out of. This one is, I don't know. Oh, here's the right stick. Nope, that's not the right stick. I don't know, but that's touching the ground, so it's coming off. Okay. So that gives you an idea what I'm doing with the tomatoes. I'm just going around and making sure I don't have branches that touch the ground, because that gives bugs and caterpillars and all kinds of diseases to, it gives them access to the tomato, which I don't want them to have. So I will go ahead and find the rest of my tomatoes and go through. And if I've got any suckers that are big, and if it's a tomato that I'm fairly certain is an indeterminate, I might take that sucker and put it in some water so it'll make roots and give me a new tomato plant. So let me continue working on my tomatoes, and then I'll come back and tell you what I'm going to do next. The next thing I'm going to do, now that I've got the tomatoes all trimmed up from the bottom, I am going to go around and I do this just about almost every day or every other day. All the calendulas that I've got, once they're in bloom, I go around and I deadhead the blooms while they're still nice, because I save them and I make salve out of them. So I save, here's what I do. Let me go over and show. Here's one right here. I've got some that are a little more bloomed out than this, but this will give you an example. I'll just pluck. I'll do this one too. And then I collect all the ones, there's some over there that are in bloom. I'll collect them all. Okay, so this is what I've got right now, and I do need to go around in front and see if I've got any calendula blooms out there. But I take them in, I've got a basket where I plop them in there, I let them dry, and they'll probably dry for, oh, I don't know, till they're nice and crispy. I have a dehydrator, but since I collect these so often, I just let them dry naturally. And then I poke them all down in a jar, quart jar, until I can't get any more in there. And then I fill that up with oil, like grapeseed oil, almond oil, or olive oil. I kind of prefer the grapeseed oil. And then I let them sit for until the blooms have infused the oil, usually a couple of months. And then I make salve out of it by mixing. I strain the blossoms out of the oil, and I mix 1 cup of oil, of infused oil, with 1 ounce of beeswax, and I heat the wax until it's melted, and I mix those two together, and I pour them in. And sometimes I add a little bit of fragrance, like lavender or mint. And I've got a video that explains all of this and shows you me doing it. I'll try to remember to link that down in the description. But then I pour that into these little containers and make salve. I gave salve out for Christmas last year. And like my granddaughter says, that my grandson was getting rashes around his nose and face from having to wear a mask. And the calendula salve actually helps get rid of that. So I'll be doing that again this year and making sure that I have lots of salve So far, I've never sold any. I don't know if I would or wouldn't. Not a decision I've made. And then back to the tomatoes, some of the tomatoes that I picked bottom leaves off of had fairly long stems. So what I do then is I pluck off all of the leaves except for just a few at the top. This one actually could have one more leaf plucked off there. And I put them down in water. They're in this water right now, but I'll probably take them inside and put them in a glass. Sit them in the kitchen windowsill. And most of them will start sprouting some roots. As soon as they have a good bit of roots on them, I will take them out and decide where I want to plant them in my garden and have more tomato plants. So those are my 2 tips for the day. Pruning tomatoes, and a lot of other people will give you tips and how to prune out suckers and all of that. My tip is just to make sure that you don't have any stems with leaves touching the ground. That's really important. Doesn't matter if it's determinate or indeterminate. No leaves or stems touching the ground. Those all need to be pruned up so there's nothing touching the ground. And then my second tip is, if you have calendula flowers, collect them, dry them. There are other things you can do besides make salve. You can make tinctures, which I've done before. With a tincture, it's the same process, only instead of using oil, you use vodka. Some people use glycerin, but I think the vodka probably works better. And then you can use it for things like cuts and scrapes and such. I don't know, I think some people even ingest it. You can make tea out of the calendula flowers. Ooh, I wonder, that sounded like a gun. Did you hear that? We are inside the city limits. We're not supposed to discharge a firearm inside the city limits, but guns are loud, so they could have been just outside the city limits. Anyway, back to on topic. Those are my 2 tips for today. And like I said, I'll try to remember to link my video that I made last fall or last year, explaining exactly how I make my calendula salve. This happens to be Memorial Day weekend. I'm wearing my red, white, and blue. It's a lot of people go on picnics and outings and such, and that's great, but that's not really what this holiday is about. This holiday is about remembering those who put their lives on the line, gave their life so that we can have freedom. I just read a Facebook post this morning that someone posted about the life of a gentleman. I forget what his name was right now, but he was a captain in the army in Vietnam. There were bullets all around them, and quite a few of his men were injured. They called off the medevacs. They said it was too dangerous to go in and rescue anyone. The captain had gotten out, but when he heard that his men were injured and no one was coming to rescue them, he took his helicopter and he flew in 13 different times and took 3 men at a time 29 men altogether. And in the midst of gunfire, got them out. And no one knew until after the mission was complete. He had gotten shot at least 4 times in the legs and arms. He did survive it. He got the Medal of Honor for his bravery and in rescuing those men. Most of them survived. They survived because of this brave captain who risked his life to go in and rescue them, because they would have died had he not done that. He went on to live, and he just recently died. He lived in Boise, Idaho. He just recently died at the age of 81. Like I said, I don't remember what his name was. But it's men like that, other men just like him, who risked their lives so that folks could have freedom, so that we could have freedom. Do not let anyone take those freedoms away from you. I don't want to get political here. I just think we're living in very strange times. And it's very, very important for us to remember those who sacrificed their lives for our freedoms. So when people say Happy Memorial Day, happy doesn't really seem the right word. Thankful, grateful, thoughtful, those are more the right words. Also, those people in our families that maybe weren't in the military, but they lived their lives so that you could have a better life. Parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, anyone who's majorly affected your life in a positive way, and they've gone on before you. Many people go to their grave sites and put flowers, crosses, flags, military and non-military, on Memorial Day. So it's a time for us to remember people who've gone on before, who have affected our lives, either remotely or directly. Either way. May they rest in peace. May they currently live in the arms of God. And may you have a wonderful Memorial Day, regardless of how you celebrate it. And I know some people watching might not even be in the United States. They may be from some other country. And that's fine. You still have people in your country and people in your family that have affected your lives in a positive way. Take time to be thankful for them and to honor them. Well, until the next video that I make, and this video is going to be a Shed Wars video, because I taught you 2 lessons today about tomatoes and calendula flowers. I'm on team Will It Grow? Indeedy, it will. Until my next video, be it a Shed Wars video or just a regular video, may the good Lord richly bless you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.